Dan, you brought up a Gore tweet. I'm also going to bring up a Gore tweet, specifically the one with Hasib. I don't know if you guys watched that pod. They did a two-part pod. And one of the things that they chatted about was that VCs should not benchmark to Bitcoin. And this spurred up a lot of discussion on Twitter. I think liquid investors think that it should be benchmarked against BTC. I do see the point of having like a decorrelated asset. Like it's a decorrelated market. It's completely different. We shouldn't focus on BTC returns. John, curious what you think.
So, just for context for me, I heard that this was a clip that got like soundbited from it. I listened to the first podcast of the two, where they fought more over like kind of value capture and how to think about tokens. I didn't listen to the second podcast, but understand the premise of the question. My general view is that I don't think a benchmark against BTC is a thing that makes sense. And I think what people like rightfully call out against that is like, oh, like, can you guys even beat Bitcoin on a risk adjusted basis? You know, blah, 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 like that, like all the conversation that follows from there. And I think it's like a totally valid point. And which is why I believe that Haseeb said this in the interview, like at least based on replies, is like why he and why also same for me is like, yeah, we tell LPs like if you want Bitcoin exposure, like you should go buy Bitcoin. Like I hold Bitcoin. That is the majority of the crypto that I hold in my PA is it's just Bitcoin. But these are just like fundamentally different markets at this point. Yeah, like if you want exposure to digital gold, macro asset, like all of these things, and uncertainty going ahead in the year, like you should buy Bitcoin. And I mean, it may also be sensible to have a manager do that for you. As part of a broader strategy, slash if they are, you know, providing meaningful value on the timing of those and how to size those positions and think about that like could be value. But by and large, I mean, like I recommend to most people, like, yeah, if you want Bitcoin exposure, like you should buy Bitcoin. This is just exposure to a different market, you know,
Yeah.
like Bitcoin can go do its own thing. But if you want upside to what is stablecoin, like what are stablecoins going to do for the economy going forward? Like, is this going to revolutionize the way that like tech startups work? That's just a completely different exposure to you than does Bitcoin work as digital gold. Like it's very easy to see one of those theses playing out in full and the other one just completely going to zero and vice versa. They're just like different areas at this point. So yeah, I generally side on what I assume was Seem's point, which is what I kind of gathered from the replies of like they probably shouldn't be generally the benchmark. It's probably something like some basket of alts, which is I think a reasonable benchmark of like, are you beating a weighted average benchmark of ETH and Sol and BNB and like whatever and all of these other tokens? Like that is what I think that you're actually trying to get exposure to with kind of the venture investments.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.